I lived a very violent life. I've been in and out of prison several times, jails. And that day on the side of the road when I think I got a heart transplant from my God let me stay for a reason. I don't know why. I don't care why. I just know that I am not the same guy I was March 31st before my accident. It was a beautiful day and my machine was just starting to breathe real good, and so I was, heck yeah, I got this thing, it's living and breathing. And it sounds pretty doggone good. And so I saw the 35-mile-an-hour marker. So I took my hand, put my foot down on the controls, both hands up here, clutch, shift, and then I put my hand back up and started looking back and forth, and then impact. And that's the last thing I remember up until I woke up out of a coma in Emmanuel Legacy Hospital in Portland.
My wife and I rushed to the hospital only to talk to the paramedics as they were rushing him in. They said it didn't look good. Said, you know, he's bleeding internally. Said probably gonna lose his leg, you know, lots to it. So my first thought was I had to get a hold of his mother because they'd already had a loss of Mike's blood brother that year before. And I knew she was just, you know, she needed to know right away.
The femur was a mess. It was a comminuted fracture, and the other major problem was that he had had a previous knee prosthesis. And so for that reason, our orthopedist did not really want to get involved in actually definitively fixing the fracture. They wanted to just get it stabilized enough so we could get him down the road. And of course, the vascular injuries needed to be repaired by Dr. Pearson and myself. In this case, of course, we're dealing with ischemia time of the limb, as well as the potential for ongoing blood loss. So the more time elapses, obviously, the more chances are there's going to be limb or tissue loss, even nerve damage, that sort of thing. And the more you have a chance to bleed, even if you're keeping up with blood loss, there's always a greater chance of developing multi-system failure and that sort of thing.
So when he arrived at LeGrand Hospital, he was very fortunate that there was a team of surgeons, both a vascular general surgeon and an orthopedic surgeon, who combined their experience to stabilize the bone with an external fixator, which is just a temporary stabilization with pins that are out of the way of the vascular repair, but prevent the limb from being floppy.
I'm extremely blessed to be here. Had those people decided to not come to work that day, or just decided that I was not worth saving, I wouldn't be here. I'm confident in that these people saved my life. I've made a very substantial change in my life and my outlook on everything. I look at clouds differently. I look at people differently.
By the time Mr. Blount arrived to us, he certainly was still very critical. Our role was to evaluate the circulation in that leg and confirm that the repair was very successful and that there was no other need for intervention.
If that had not occurred, I wouldn't have had any, fracture work to do. He would have probably had to have an amputation above the knee. So a very, very excellent repair and initial stabilization, so that Mr. Blount could then come to Portland for his repair.
I'm changed. I'm not perfect. I'm so not perfect. But I'm also not who I used to be. If I hadn't been given this umpteenth chance, I fear who I would have become. I'm eternally grateful for the teams that have worked on me and saved my life. But I'm not being ungrateful, but there's nowhere nearly enough trained professionals that are available to help. Everybody that's able to help, please help. This is urgent matter. This could be your son or your daughter or your loved one.